The Earth looked quiet, almost forgotten, floating in the endless dark of space. The blue ocean still shimmered, the green forests still breathed, but the world felt hollow. To outsiders, Earth seemed weak, silent, and unprotected. For decades, the alien empires laughed at this planet, calling it broken and backward. They thought humanity had no strength left after the Great War centuries ago. But they were wrong, deadly wrong. Beneath the surface of Earth, under mountains and oceans, things were hidden. The ordinary people of Earth lived simple lives, not knowing the truth. They believed the silence was real, that peace had been forced upon them. But a few knew, generals, engineers, and leaders who carried secrets too heavy to share. Secrets about weapons buried deep and about a gate locked away from every eye. They called it the Shadow Gate. At first it was just a myth, a rumor whispered in bars and old soldier camps. Stories told of humans building something beyond alien, science, something that did not belong to normal space. But the truth was more dangerous than the rumor. The Shadow Gate was real, and it was never meant to be used, unless the galaxy pushed Earth too far. In the cold night, an old mountain shook. Birds flew from the treetops, dust rolled down the cliffs. Deep inside, a door larger than a skyscraper cracked open. Its metal surface had been hidden for hundreds of years. Behind it, shadows moved. The kind of shadows that belonged not to nature but to machines. The sound of gears and engines whispered in the darkness. Something old was waking up. On the streets above, children played with kites. Men sold food in markets. No one knew the ground below their feet was alive with machines. No one knew that under every ocean floor and every forgotten desert, ships had been waiting, not one or two, but fleets. Ships built in silence, tested in shadows, and hidden from every alien eye. The aliens thought Earth was finished, but the humans had never stopped building. They had never stopped planning. They had only gone silent to prepare. Above the planet, alien scouts watched carefully. Their sleek ships orbited the blue world. They scanned for weapons, for fleets, for defenses. But their screens showed nothing, only silence, only peace, only weakness. The alien commander laughed. "This world is empty," he told his officers. "No power, no armies. If we wish, we can take it tomorrow." The crew agreed, nodding with cruel smiles. But far below, Earth's true heart was beating louder. The silence was only a mask. Inside a secret command bunker, lights turned red. An alarm echoed through the steel halls. Men and women in uniform rushed to their stations on the walls. Old screens flickered to life. Words flashed. Shadow protocol. Initiated. The commander of the hidden base stood still, his hands behind, his back. His eyes looked tired but steady. He had waited his whole life for this order. He spoke softly, but every soldier heard him. "The time of silence is over," he said. "Wake the fleet." Engines hidden under the crust of the Earth roared. Great hangars opened, releasing air that had been trapped for centuries. The ground shook, as if the planet itself was alive. Metal wings stretched in the dark, dust falling from their surfaces. These were not normal ships, these were warships built for a single purpose: survival. Each ship was larger than any building on Earth. Their hulls were black, their shapes sharp. They were designed not to be seen, not to be tracked. They could vanish in shadow, they could reappear in fire. They were the hidden guardians of Earth, waiting for the day they would rise. The people of Earth still slept in their homes, still dreamed under the calm night sky. They did not know history was turning beneath their feet. They did not know the Shadow Gate was unlocking. Far away in the alien empire, messages were being sent. Scouts whispered of strange readings on Earth, of deep signals they could not explain. But the council laughed. "They are only humans," one leader said. "They cannot surprise us. Their time is finished." But then, in the quiet hours before dawn, the world trembled. The first of the hidden ships rose from the mountains, its engines silent, its hull black as night. It lifted into the sky, casting a shadow over the forest. Below, the birds stopped singing. The air itself seemed to freeze. Earth had been silent for too long. Now the silence was breaking. And when it broke, the galaxy would never forget the sound. The mountain skies turned dark as the first shadow-black warship rose into the night. Its body looked like a moving fortress, smooth yet sharp, like it was cut out of darkness itself. No flame burst from its engines, no noise thundered in the air. It simply floated upward, silent, unnatural, powerful. Inside the hidden base, alarms faded into a steady hum, screens filled with symbols only the oldest officers understood. A voice echoed through the steel chambers. Shadow Fleet protocol confirmed, awakening sequence complete. Soldiers looked at each other, nervous yet proud. They had trained for this moment but never believed it would come. The commander stepped onto the control deck. His uniform was simple. His eyes carried the weight of centuries. Our ancestors built this fleet in secret, he said. They built it to keep us alive if the galaxy ever forgot mercy. Tonight we wake them. Tonight Earth's silence ends. Deep under oceans, great doors opened like the jaws of ancient beasts. Salt water rushed aside as ships rose from beneath. Black hulls broke the surface, towering above the waves. Their wings unfolded like blades, dripping with sea foam. The sound was like thunder, but the night sky swallowed it. From the deserts, more ships climbed, leaving behind clouds of dust. And from forests, entire hangars lifted from the ground. Trees shook, animals fled. The Earth itself seemed alive. On the orbital station above, alien scouts caught the first glimpse. Their screens flashed red warnings. Energy signatures they had never seen before appeared across Earth. One officer gasped, "This cannot be real." But the truth filled every monitor. Hundreds of warships were rising, ships no alien database could identify. No Empire record had ever mentioned them. It was as if Earth had hidden an entire armada. Inside its bones, the alien commander barked orders. "Send everything to the High Council. Tell them the humans were never silent. Tell them they were waiting." But the message traveled too slowly, because already the ships were climbing higher, breaking through clouds, and in orbit, something else appeared. The Shadow Gate. It did not open with fire. It did not roar like engines. It shimmered, like a curtain of black light tearing across space. It grew wider and wider until even alien satellites shook. No one in the galaxy had ever unlocked such a thing. It was a door into the shadows themselves, and it belonged to humans one by one. The black warships entered the gate, their outlines vanishing into the void. The alien officers stared with frozen faces. If ships could move through shadows, they could appear anywhere. No planet, no station, no fleet would ever be safe again. Inside one of the dreadnoughts, crew members strapped into their stations. The walls hummed with power, panels lit with ghostly blue light. The captain whispered, almost to himself, "This is not invasion. This is survival. This is humanity's last hand." His second officer asked, "Sir, do we reveal ourselves fully? Do we speak to them?" The captain shook his head. "Not yet. Let them fear the unknown first. Fear is our greatest weapon." On Earth's surface, the people still did not know. They still slept in warm homes, still dreamed under the calm sky. But across the stars, alien governments were waking in terror. Messages raced across networks. Humans have a hidden fleet. Humans have opened a gate of shadows. Humans are not broken, they are dangerous. In one council chamber, a gray-skinned leader slammed his fist against the table. "This is impossible. We destroyed their fleets long ago." But another alien general spoke softly. "No. We destroyed the fleets we could see. These ships. These gates. They were never meant for our eyes." Back on Earth, the commander of the secret base stood before his soldiers. On the large screen behind him, dozens of black warships floated in orbit, each one ready to disappear into the Shadow Gate. The EO. Commander raised his hand. Generations kept this secret. Generations lived in silence now. The galaxy will know we never surrendered. We only prepared. And tonight, we awaken. A roar of determination filled the command chamber. Every soldier felt it. Fear mixed with pride. The silence of Earth was finished. The Shadow Fleet was real. And its first awakening had already changed the fate of the galaxy. Far above, the last ship entered the Shadow Gate. The portal pulsed once, twice. Then it sealed shut. leaving only silence in orbit again. The alien scouts were left shaking, staring at the empty sky, knowing they had witnessed something their empires could never undo. The silence of Earth was gone, and from the shadows humanity was marching toward war. In the deep chambers of the Galactic High Council, silence ruled. The Great Hall was filled with hundreds of alien leaders, their robes shimmering under blue lights. They had gathered to hear the report from the scouts orbiting Earth, most expected. Nothing. Earth was supposed to be weak, a planet stripped of power. But when the first images appeared on the giant holoscreens, the counselors froze. Ships, black as death, were rising from mountains, oceans, deserts, hundreds of them, each larger than a city block. And then the image of the Shadow Gate filled the hall, a shimmering black wound in space, stretching open above Earth. A sound of gasps echoed. One counselor hissed, "This is not possible. No world has ever built such a gate. The shadows belong to the void alone." The scout's voice crackled through the speakers, filled with fear. "My lords, the humans have awakened something ancient. We scanned. These are not ships we recognize. Their energy signatures are beyond known categories. They move silently. Faster than light, faster than calculation, they entered the Shadow Gate. We could not stop them." The hall broke into chaos. Voices rose, fists slammed, tails lashed, wings flapped. Everyone spoke at once. Some demanded war, some demanded peace, others whispered of running. But beneath the noise, one truth rang clear. The galaxy was afraid. The High Chancellor, a tall being with silver eyes, raised her staff. "Silence!" she commanded. Her voice cut through the storm. She glared at the screens where the black ships shimmered. For centuries, the galaxy had treated humans as broken survivors, slaves of history, children of tragedy. But now they were something else, something terrifying. One general leaned forward, his scales glittering like steel. "I fought humans before," he growled. "They are stubborn, but they break. They bleed. They die. What is this but an illusion?" But another, an old strategist with 4 glowing eyes, shook his head. "No, this is no illusion. This is patience, do you not see? For centuries they have been silent, not because they were weak, but because they were waiting. Every insult, every massacre, every humiliation we gave them, they turned it into fuel, and now they rise. We are the ones who will bleed." The council chamber fell quiet again. Every leader remembered the wars against Earth, the colonies burned, the soldiers taken, the treaties forced upon them. The humans had been crushed under alien boots, and now the boots would tremble. Meanwhile, in the alien homeworlds, fear spread faster than fire. News channels replayed the images again and again. Children asked their parents why humans had ships that could vanish into shadows. Merchants whispered in markets, "Did you hear? They built gates into the void itself." Soldiers refused to laugh. Their hands shook on their weapons. The fear of humanity had returned. In the outer fleets, commanders received new orders. Hold position near the shadow sectors. Do not provoke them. Do not engage unless commanded. But everyone knew what it really meant. They were terrified to face humans in battle again. On Earth, in the hidden command chamber, the human commander watched reports streaming in. Alien fleets were moving cautiously. Their ships spread across the borders, but none dared approach the Shadow Gate. He allowed himself a thin smile. "They remember," he whispered. "They remember what we are. Good, let them fear." In the shadow dimension itself, human dreadnoughts glided through darkness. The space around them was strange, not stars, not void. It was endless shadow, moving like water, whispering like wind. No alien had ever mastered this place, but humans had turned it into their hunting ground. They tested their weapons, firing beams that left no trace. They jumped from shadow to shadow, appearing in different regions within seconds. It was power no empire could understand. The crew of one ship laughed nervously. A young pilot whispered, "Do you think the aliens are scared of us now?" Her captain's face hardened. "They should be, but fear is not enough. We must make them believe that facing us means death. Only then will the galaxy learn respect." Back in the council, the debate turned darker. One furious leader shouted, "Destroy them before it is too late. Send the entire Armada to Earth." But the strategist with 4 eyes shook his head again. "You do not understand the shadow. Once they enter it, you cannot find them. You cannot chase them. They will strike from darkness, and you will die." Never knowing where the blade came from, the High Chancellor looked at the images one last time. Her silver eyes reflected the black hulls of human ships. We thought Earth was silent, but it was listening. We thought it was weak, but it was building. Now the galaxy will face its greatest fear. Humans with shadows at their command. Every leader felt the weight of her words. Fear settled over them like a storm, and in that silence they all knew the truth. The galaxy had just changed forever, because Earth's silence was gone, and the Shadow Fleet was awake. The Shadow Gate hung above Earth like a wound in the sky. It pulsed with black light, opening wider with every second. No alien technology had ever created such a thing. It was not wormhole, not jump drive, not hyperspace. It was something older, darker, and far more dangerous. The human dreadnoughts drifted near the glowing curtain. Their black holes reflected no light. They looked like ghosts against the stars. Each one carried weapons no alien database could name. Cannons that whispered instead of roared. Missiles that left no trails. Shields that flickered like shadows themselves. Inside the hidden base on Earth, the commander watched the readings. The screen showed the gate stretching wider. It had been locked for centuries, sealed by codes passed through generations. But tonight the lock was broken. Tonight the Shadow Gate belonged to humanity again. He whispered to himself, "My ancestors swore this gate would only open when Earth was threatened. Now the galaxy must see what they forced us to unleash." Alarms echoed through alien fleets stationed at the edge of the solar system. Their scanners lit up with impossible readings. Energy waves pulsed from Earth, bending their sensors. One alien officer shouted, "It's not just a gate, it's tearing space apart." But the admiral of the alien fleet said nothing. His eyes stayed locked on the black shapes moving through the portal. Dreadnought after dreadnought slipped inside, silent, merciless, unstoppable. On one of the ships, the crew stared at the shimmering walls of the gate. It was like looking into a storm of shadows. Stars bent and twisted around them. The young helmsman gripped the controls. "Are we sure it's safe?" he asked, his voice trembling. The captain gave a hard smile. "Safe? No, but nothing worth doing is ever safe. This is the path our people built for us. Now we walk it." The ship entered, and the universe changed. The normal stars disappeared. The sky turned into endless black mist. Shapes moved within the shadows. Maybe echoes, maybe something alive. No one knew what truly lived inside the shadow dimension. But the ships glided forward, their hulls glowing faintly as if the shadows themselves recognized them. Back on Earth, the commander received reports. All dreadnoughts inside, transition complete. He closed his eyes for a moment. For centuries, the gate had been a secret too heavy to carry. Now it was unleashed. There was no turning back, and the alien council chambers' terror grew. Leaders screamed at each other. One shouted, "If they can move through shadows, they can appear above any world." Another hissed, "We must seal the gate, destroy Earth before it is too late." But the strategist with 4 glowing eyes shook his head slowly. "You still do not understand. The gate is not ours to close, it belongs to them. Even if we destroy Earth, the gate will remain and they will return through it, again and again." Fear spread like poison through the galaxy. Merchants canceled their routes. Soldiers refused. Assignments near Earth sector. Colonies whispered of evacuation. The very idea of humans moving unseen through shadows broke the courage of empires. Inside the Shadow Gate, the fleet assembled. Dozens of dreadnoughts aligned in formation, their engines silent, their weapons ready. In the command ship, the admiral stood before his crew. "Tonight we proved the galaxy wrong. They thought silence meant surrender. They thought we were broken, but we were building this, we were building them." He gestured toward the massive warships filling the shadow horizon. "And now, we march into history." The first test strike was ordered. One dreadnought emerged briefly from the gate near an alien outpost. The enemy barely had time to register the black shape before it fired. The station vanished in a silent flash. No wreckage, no escape, only empty stars where a base had been. Before the alien fleet could respond, the human ship slipped back into the shadows. Gone, untouchable. Panic spread across alien networks. Messages screamed across their systems. They strike from nowhere. They vanish into dark. They cannot be fought. Every empire knew then. Humans had changed the rules of war. Back in the command ship, the captain received the report of the destroyed outpost. He nodded once, his face cold. They will understand soon. Every world that hurt us, every empire that mocked us. They will know the price of fear. The shadow gate pulsed again. More ships prepared to leave. Some for reconnaissance, some for vengeance. Earth itself seemed to hum with pride. After centuries of silence, its true strength was revealed. Above the planet, the last human dreadnought entered the gate. The portal shimmered, wider than any moon. From every corner of the galaxy, spies and scouts recorded the sight, and every recording carried the same chilling message. The gate was open. The humans were no longer hiding, and the galaxy would never sleep in peace again. The alien armada gathered at the edge of Earth's solar system. Hundreds of cruisers, carriers, and destroyers hung in formation. Their silver hulls glowed under distant starlight. Every gun charged, every fighter bay ready. They had come to trap the humans before they spread too far. The alien admiral stood tall on his bridge, his voice sharp as steel. We end them here, before the shadows consume us all. This fleet will crush their hidden ships, and the galaxy will remember who truly rules the stars. His crew roared in agreement, but inside their eyes doubt trembled. They had seen the recordings. They had seen human ships vanish and reappear, and deep in their hearts, fear was already eating them. At first, the void was calm. Sensors scanned empty darkness. No human signals, no dreadnoughts. It almost felt like Earth's silence had returned. But then, the shadow gate pulsed, and the nightmare began. A black warship emerged without sound, its outline sharp, its size dwarfing the alien cruisers. Before the armada could fire, the dreadnought struck. Beams of silent light ripped through enemy shields. Entire cruisers exploded in silence. No thunder, no flames, just void swallowing metal. The alien admiral shouted, "Return fire, all ships focus fire." Hundreds of weapons lit the stars, energy beams, missiles, plasma bursts, all aimed at the single human dreadnought. For a moment, the void burned with light, but when the glare faded, the dreadnought was gone, vanished. The shots tore only empty space. Alarms screamed on the alien bridge. It disappeared. It's gone from scanners. Then another officer yelled, "No, it's behind us." The black ship reappeared in their rear flank. Its cannons roared again. 3 more alien vessels vanished in fire. The armada broke formation. Panic rippled through the fleet. And then it got worse. From the gate, more dreadnoughts emerged. Not one, not two, but dozens, each one larger than the last. They spread across the battlefield, appearing, vanishing, striking without warning. Every move was chaos. The aliens fired blindly, but humans moved like shadows. Every blast hit nothing but the cold void. Inside one of the dreadnoughts, the human admiral stood calm. He watched as alien ships twisted and burned. "They still fight with eyes open," he said softly. "But here, eyes are useless. Fear is their true enemy, and fear has already won." On the alien flagship, the admiral's crew begged him, "Sir, we cannot track them. Our weapons hit nothing. What do we do?" The admiral's jaw tightened. "Hold formation, do not scatter. If we fall apart, they will destroy us one by one." But his words came too late. The fleet was already breaking. Human dreadnoughts moved like hunters in the dark. They cut through enemy lines with precision. Every blast destroyed, every strike killed. Alien voices filled the comms with screams. Shields collapsing. "Engine gone! Abandon ship!" The first clash lasted less than an hour. But when it ended, the alien fleet was in ruins. Wreckage drifted across the void. Thousands of lives lost. And not a single human ship destroyed. One alien officer whispered on the burning flagship, "They are not warriors, they are shadows wearing steel. How do you fight shadows?" The admiral clenched his fists. His pride shattered. He had sworn to destroy Earth. But now his fleet was broken, his empire would demand answers, and he had none. Back in the shadow dimension, the human fleet regrouped. Not a single voice shouted. In celebration, they did not cheer, they did not boast, they moved in silence. Every officer knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy would not stop with one defeat. More fleets would come, larger, angrier, desperate, and humanity would need to be ready. Inside the command ship, the admiral stood before his officers. "This was their first taste of us," he said. "They will tell stories of tonight. They will warn their children, but make no mistake, this war has only begun. We will strike again and again. Until the galaxy learns, Earth does not bow, Earth does not break, Earth remembers." The soldiers nodded, their eyes hard with purpose. Some had tears thinking of old wars, of family lost to alien cruelty. Now they carried vengeance in their hearts, not for conquest but for justice. On the alien worlds, fear spread like wildfire. The council chambers filled with angry voices. Some demanded more fleets, others whispered of surrender. One leader cried out, "If one battle cost us this much, what will happen when the humans strike our homes?" No one answered because deep down they all knew. The galaxy had changed, the humans had returned, and their shadows now ruled the battlefield. The galaxy had gone silent after the first clash. Every empire, every colony, every station waited, in fear. The news of the Shadow Fleet's victory traveled faster than light itself. No one could believe it. 100 alien warships destroyed in less than an hour, and not a single human ship lost. In the markets of distant worlds, merchants whispered, "They came from nowhere. They fought like ghosts. They cannot be stopped." Even children played games, pretending to vanish into shadows, calling themselves Death Worlders. The fear of humans was no longer rumor. It had become truth. In the Grand Council chamber, leaders sat in silence. The holoscreens replayed. The battle again and again. Black dreadnoughts sliding from nothingness. Alien cruisers exploding without defense. A counselor slammed his claws against the table. "This is madness. Humans should not have this power. They should have been erased long ago." But the strategist with 4 glowing eyes leaned forward, his voice calm but heavy with dread. "You still do not understand. This was not built yesterday. This was not a sudden trick. This was centuries of silence, centuries of planning. While we mocked them, while we enslaved them, while we called them broken, they were building this fleet. They were building their revenge." Gasps echoed in the chamber. The revelation struck every leader like a blade. The silence of Earth had never been weakness. It had been patience. The humans had buried their anger deep and turned it into steel and shadow on the human command ship. The admiral stood before his officers, his eyes fixed on the holographic map of the galaxy, every empire, every world marked in faint light. "These are not just enemies," he said. "These are the architects of our suffering, every scar on Earth, every child lost, every city burned. Their hands are stained with it, and now the galaxy will learn. Silence was never surrender. It was preparation." One young officer raised his voice. "But sir, will we destroy them all? Or do we seek peace?" The admiral's face hardened. Peace was their lie. They gave us treaties while burning our colonies. They gave us promises while stealing our children. No, we do not seek peace. We seek balance. And balance comes through fear. Only when they fear us will peace be possible. Inside the shadow dimension, the fleet moved like predators. Their ships tested new maneuvers, appearing in one system, vanishing, then reappearing across light years. Alien patrols chased empty ghosts. Entire fleets fired into empty space. And every time they did, humans struck from another angle. The galaxy's mighty empires suddenly felt powerless. On one alien world, a governor addressed his people. "Stay calm. The humans cannot strike everywhere." But even as he spoke, a black warship appeared in orbit. It fired once, destroying a military outpost, then it vanished before the planet's defenses could respond. The people screamed in terror. The governor fell silent, and the message was clear. No one was safe. Back in the council chamber, the silver-eyed High Chancellor stood at the center. Her voice trembled, though she tried to stay strong. We treated humans as prey. We thought them fragile. But in truth, they are the most dangerous hunters of all. We cannot predict them. We cannot control them. They move in shadows we do not understand. And worst of all, they remember everything we did to them. Another leader whispered, "If this continues, the galaxy will fall, not to an empire, but to a world we once called weak." The revelation spread faster than any fleet could travel across the galaxy. Alien races began to question, who are humans really? Why did Earth survive when weaker worlds perished? The answer came like a whisper in every mind. Because humans never stop. They endure. They adapt. They survive. On the human homeworld, ordinary people finally began to notice strange signals. News leaked of warships rising from oceans, of a great gate opening in orbit. Fear mixed with pride in every heart. For the first time in centuries, humanity stood united. They knew their silence was over. They knew their voice would be carried. Not in words, but in thunder and shadow in the Admiral's chamber. He recorded a message meant for the galaxy. It was not long, not angry, not loud. It was simple. It carried the weight of centuries in a single voice. We remember. You thought us silent. You thought us broken. But silence is not weakness. It is the sharpening of the blade, and now the blade is yours to feel. When the message was broadcast, entire worlds trembled, fleets refused to launch, generals sat in silence. No one dared laugh at Earth again. The revelation was complete. The galaxy had thought Earth forgotten. But now it understood the truth. Earth had never been gone. Earth had been waiting. And the shadows belonged to humanity. The last warning. The shadow gate pulsed above Earth. Its black light stretched wider than moons. Every second, more ships rose through it. Dreadnoughts, carriers, shadow cruisers, an armada like nothing the galaxy had seen. Each one moved in silence. Each one carried power no alien weapon could match. And for the first time in history, the galaxy realized Earth was not a forgotten world. It was a storm about to break. Inside the alien High Council, fear gripped every leader. Reports poured in from dozens of star systems. Human ships appeared above our stations, fired once and vanished. They destroyed fleets without leaving wreckage. They walked through shadows like water. Every voice carried the same tremble. No one argued anymore. No one mocked humanity. They only waited, terrified, for what would come next. Then the holoscreens lit up. A human face appeared, hard and scarred, the Admiral of the Shadow Fleet. His voice was calm, steady, but filled with a weight that silenced the entire chamber. "This is our last warning," he said. "For centuries, you hunted us. You called us weak. You burned our colonies. You broke our children. You believed silence was surrender. But silence was only patience. And now, patience is over." The words echoed through the chamber like thunder. Every leader sat frozen, some with eyes wide in terror, others with rage boiling in their throats. But none dared interrupt. The Admiral continued, "We are not conquerors. We are not here to enslave or destroy without cause. But hear this clearly. Every world that raised a hand against Earth will answer. Every empire that spilled human blood will remember its debt. And from this day forward, if you ever threaten Earth again, you will vanish into shadow, without warning, without mercy. This is not negotiation. This is survival." On alien worlds, billions watched the broadcast. Families huddled around glowing screens. Soldiers froze in their barracks. Merchants dropped their goods in the markets. The face of one human man filled their skies, and his words became the law of fear. In the shadow dimension, the fleet prepared for its next campaign. Engines pulsed with dark energy, weapons charged. Silently, the dreadnoughts stood like giants waiting to be unleashed. Crew members strapped into their stations, their eyes burned with determination. They knew they were writing history with every move. One young pilot whispered to her captain, "Do you think they'll listen? Do you think this warning will be enough?" The captain placed a hand on her shoulder. "They will listen, because they have no choice. They have seen what we can do, and they know we can do worse. Fear is stronger than any treaty, and now, fear belongs to us. Meanwhile, in the high council chamber, leaders finally spoke again. One elder with trembling hands whispered, "If they strike, none of us can stand against them. Our fleets are useless in the shadows. Our weapons mean nothing. Perhaps we must obey." Others hissed in anger. "No, we are empires, we bow to no one." But their voices were hollow. They all knew the truth. The galaxy's age of dominance was over. The age of Earth had begun, on Earth itself. People finally saw the truth with their own eyes. The skies filled with black warships rising toward the gate. Children pointed at them in awe. Elders wept, knowing sacrifices of the past had not been in vain. The silence of centuries was broken, and humanity's roar shook the heavens. The admiral sent one final message before the fleet vanished back into the gate. It was short, sharp, unforgettable. "You thought us gone, but we were waiting. You thought us broken, but we were building. Now the shadows are ours, and this galaxy will never forget Earth again." Then the transmission ended. The screens went dark, and the human fleet vanished once more into the shadows. The galaxy remained still, every empire frozen in silence, every leader staring into empty air because they knew the meaning of the last warning. Humanity did not seek endless war, but if provoked, if threatened, if mocked again, the shadows would open, and Earth's hidden fleet would return in the void. Silence fell again, but it was no longer the silence of weakness. It was the silence of a blade in the dark, waiting, sharp, unbroken, and every alien heart beat faster, because they knew the truth. The galaxy would never sleep peacefully again, not while Earth lived, not while the shadows answered to humanity.